Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Happy New Year. I hope everyone had an amazing holiday season. We had friends over for New Year's Eve and played tons of the TikTok games. So fun. I laughed so hard that I almost peed my pants. Nothing like a good laugh with family and friends surrounding you. So, just a quick reminder if you're new here, a new podcast episode drops every Monday. So, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single one. This past week on my Instagram, we celebrated Shred and Clubhouse members who went from irritated and not losing weight to losing the fluff to reveal tone muscles. In the past, they have tried low carb and fasting methods to gain muscle definition, but nothing worked until now. So head over to my Instagram at Kelly Counts Macros, counts with a K, to check it out. These stories are motivating all of my listeners and followers to take action. The next 8-week shred, which is what I'm known for, will start January 23rd. The link to sign up and details will be in the show notes. And I know everyone is ready and raring to hit it hard in 2025. So, speaking of hitting it hard in 2025, I will be having a 1 week $10 session. It will start January 13th through the 17th. I will also put that in the show notes. Each day we will go over one step to reduce and remove that fluff so that you have your personalized plan for 2025. Not only that, but I will be giving you a calendar. It's actually a coloring calendar, super fun. And that will be available to you if you join the Hit It Hard in 2025. Once again, that's only $10 and you will get everything that you need in 2025 to lose as much weight as you want. So this past week inside of the clubhouse, we made an amazing soup, more like a stew, hearty beef and cabbage tomato soup. It was so good, so comforting. This recipe is clickable inside of the clubhouse and it shoots straight into the app. Not only that, but I am featured in the My Macros Plus app, and anyone can search for me. You go under by brand, then Kelly Counts Macros, counts with a K, and all of my recipes are there. So easy to track. The advantage of being in the clubhouse is that you have my recipe book right inside of the clubhouse. So all the recipes are in one spot instead of trying to remember where you save the recipe on social media. You just make the recipe, decide on your portion size, feed your family, and you're done. It's always family-friendly meals and desserts in the monthly membership. Quick favor, it's a new year and I would love some new reviews. Would you mind leaving me a review of the podcast? I read every single review and they mean so much to me. They also help me reach more people. So if you haven't left a review yet, please do and be sure to hit that follow button so you never miss an episode. New ones drop every Monday. So today I will actually be reviewing my 2024 coloring calendar. I will walk you step by step through each month and let you know what my goal was for the year and also each month. And I highly suggest that you get into the Hit It Hard for 2025 so that you have your coloring page to fill in for 2025. So first up at the top of the page, it says my goal for and then the year. So last year was 2024, and my goal was 10,000 steps and to practice a pull up. Now, I practiced and got to probably 12 to 13 chin ups at a time, but I wanted to up my game and do a pull up, which is basically just a change in the grip. And also, sometimes 10,000 steps is challenging for me. I work from home, as a lot of you do, and I do use a walking pad, but I have to be very cognizant and consistent with using it in order to get the steps in. I do love to hop on it and do my emails and my social media. I love to take a walk after lunch. That helps me get it in, and then ask my husband or my kids to walk in the evening, which, as you know, sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. And then practicing my pull up, I really wanted to work on my form and my grip, and I wanted to increase the number of pull ups that I could do. Now, as the year went on, I realized that I wanted to change my goal each month because these steps and the practicing the pull ups, there were times where I was just plain tired of practicing pull ups. I wanted to concentrate on other things. So I will walk you through my year. I will tell you my goal and then give you a little report as to how I did and what would work for you. So, of course, in January, I started with the 10,000 steps and practicing pull ups. And throughout the month of January, I was very consistent. As most of you know, that if you've been following me for a long time, we use a consistency calendar inside of the clubhouse, and we aim to be 80% consistent or more during the month. And then also not to have two red X's in a row. If we accomplish our goal, we get a green check. And if we don't, then we get a red X. I will say this, and I probably will repeat myself, but you need to pick a goal that you don't already have in place. So if you're already walking 10,000 steps per day, I don't want you picking the 10,000 steps. Perhaps maybe you need to drink more water. Perhaps maybe you need to track your food. Pick something that you're not already consistent with. And this is what I see happening a lot of times. You just pick whatever you're consistent with. Now, for me, I'm very consistent with strength training. Now, I didn't always used to love strength training. I was a cardio queen, thinking that cardio was the answer, when in reality, I wanted to reduce the fluff and have definition. I wanted my muscles to show. I wanted to look good in a bikini. I wanted to have abs. I wanted my arms and shoulders to look good. So it took me far too long. In fact, Lola was about 18 months when I finally figured out that it is the strength training and the nutrition, with nutrition being number one. And when I talk about both of those, I talk about consistent nutrition. A lot of us are consistent throughout the week, but then the weekend comes and you fall off. So being consistent with nutrition first and then strength training. Strength training, definitely focusing on lifting until failure, concentrating on a certain program, not program hopping, and then just tracking my consistency, because sometimes we think we're being consistent, but we're really not. So in January, what I did was I had the two goals, the 10,000 steps and to practice the pull-ups. And it looks like I was consistent. In January, I did not have two red X's in a row. I will say that some days I only did the 10,000 steps or practice the pull up, but that was only 5 days in January. The rest of the time I was consistent with it. And when I started in January, now remember, I was good, in air quotes, good for me at chin ups. And pull-ups, I only started at 3. And by the end of January, I had 6.75. So I felt really good about my pull-ups. Now, I recognized when I started doing chin-ups that you do need the strength, but a lot of it is about your form as well. So I was working on my form and then also doing exercises that would help me with the pull up. Also realizing that with pull ups and chin ups, you do need rest. You need rest in between. You need rest in between the days that you do them. So I did realize that in January. So in February, I stuck to the same two goals. And when I'm taking a look at February, I had 2 days that I only did one or the other, and one day that I did not do either. And with my consistency, I did not have two red X's in a row. I actually picked a really pretty magenta color to color in my February. And I went from 6.75 pull-ups to 8.5 pull-ups. As we moved on to March, I picked blue to color in my March. And what happened in March was I knew that we were going to Mexico at the beginning of May. I also knew that I had a photo shoot right before Mexico, and I always do one cut a year. So I decided, and if you've been with me long enough, I talk about periodization. I knew that cutting should only last a certain period for me. I don't really have that much to lose. I just wanted to lose some of the fluff, tone up, as they say. I'm using my air quotes. And I knew that for me, tightening up my nutrition, getting back to weighing my food, and then also tracking my food. I get asked all the time if I still track. I do not still track because I have the habits in place. I know what a serving size looks like. I know when I overdo it, and I know when I don't. So it was time to get back to tracking and weighing my food. So in March, my goal was calories. Remember, calories are king, and I was in a cut. So it looks like there were 3 days that I was not consistent with my calories, meaning my cutting calories, I went over. So those were 3 days. If I could guess, because I can't exactly remember, I'm sure it was the weekends. We are busy with basketball and volleyball, and they are travel. So that means a lot of, eating out and then also enjoying a couple of drinks with the team. But really, there were only 3 days in March. Now, let's talk about April. I decided to use the color green in April as I colored my days in, and I'm proud to say that I stayed in my calorie deficit every day in April. And I can remember back to April, I remember once again lots of travel, but I just decided I was going to stay in my cut, not give myself any real wiggle room because the first week in May, we were going to Mexico. So every single day I had a plan and I pre-tracked and I weighed all my food. I remember obviously we ate out a couple times, but I did pack a lot of my food when we went on these little weekend travel ball getaways. I do remember also that we did a wine tour and I really concentrated on that day. I had a plan. I pre-tracked my wine and I remember just crushing it. I know a lot of you probably are still focusing on the scale, so I want to touch on this lightly. I did weigh myself daily. I always have my clients that are in a cut weigh daily, and a lot of times the scale did not go down, but I've educated myself. Not only was it if I ate out and there was extra salt, also going to the bathroom if I didn't have a bowel movement, inflammation, extra water. That is all water weight and not fat gain. I knew I was doing what I was supposed to, and the scale eventually went down below my goal weight. So you just have to stay consistent even when you think it's not working. Okay, so we were leaving, I think, for vacation on May 7th or May 9th. So I decided to stay in my cut until then, and I was super consistent. And when I went on vacation and I had my pictures done for my website, I felt amazing and I knew that I had done my best. And what I mean by my best is not perfect. I'm a coach and I am not perfect, so don't expect perfection. So for the rest of May, once I got back from vacation, I decided that I was going to focus on my steps because remember, workouts are easy for me. I was probably still a little bit depleted from my cut and trying to do chin-ups and pull-ups. While you may weigh less, you have less energy. So I focused on my steps. And it looks like throughout May, there was only one day that I didn't get the 10,000 steps in. I'm sure that I used my walking pad quite a bit in May as the weather can be iffy here in PA, but I always try to get outside because nature, listening to nature, stopping, pausing, watching nature really fuels me. So on to June, summertime, right? Summertime is hard for a lot of people, and I just decided I'm going to maintain. Now, you're going to hear this a lot in my plan. I decided to drop the 10K and the practicing the pull-ups for June and just maintenance. Now, what maintenance means is eating at maintenance calories, and for me, also strength training. So I stuck to it for maintenance for me. The calories, I know when I go over and I know when I don't. And there were only 2 days in June that I did not go over my calories. I did not track, but I know when I go over. So on to July, remembering that it's still summertime. And fortunately, we were doing a step count challenge inside of the clubhouse. So for July, I knew that I was going to be held accountable and I had a partner. I do the challenges with my people inside of the clubhouse. So I stuck to the 11,000 steps every day except for one day. I don't remember why I didn't get in the 11,000 steps that day, but that was my goal for July. I picked a pretty orange color to color in July. And I know it seems so simple, but you know me, I love simplicity and coloring in it's fun to me. So on to August. August, I decided to maintain again. So once again, maintenance for me is staying at maintenance calories. Remember, cutting calories are lower than maintenance calories. And typically maintenance calories are, I can get you probably above 15 times your goal weight. So let's say your goal weight is 100 pounds, just for simplicity, then your maintenance calories would be 1,500. So, but a lot of times I can work my clients up much higher than that, depending on their metabolism. So August, maintenance. Maintenance for me, once again, maintenance calories and strength training. And there were 5 days in August. But what you do is you realize that you're super consistent still. That's 80%. That's 80% of August. So if you do the math and divide the days that you had a green check by the days in the month, there's 31 days in August, I still was above 80%. So moving on to September, maintenance once again. As you can see, I am on repeat. Maintenance, maintenance, maintenance. But I do want to stress that I have been at my goal for a long time and I know what I'm doing. So I only cut once a year, and maintaining is what my goal was for September. September, October, November, and December. So for the rest of the year, my goal was to maintain. And I can just hear my clients saying, the end of the year is so hard for me. You know, there's Halloween and then there's Thanksgiving and there's Christmas and then New Year's. So my goal is to maintain because once again, the issue for me is not working out. The issue for me is my step count. And then also, I just want to maintain. In the clubhouse, we call that maintaining Mandy. So September, I picked a pretty orange color, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5 days that I was not in maintenance. What I will say is if you are in maintenance and you take a couple of days off as days planned off, it does not give you permission to eat like a jerk because that will erase whatever you had accomplished through the week and you won't maintain. So eating like a jerk far above your maintenance. So on to October, we're getting into the cooler months here in Erie, PA, Halloween, and sometimes with October comes comfort food. I'm not a real big comfort food person, but I love kettle corn. I love obviously peanut butter and chocolate, if you know me at all. So in October, I had 6 days that I was not maintaining Mandy, but realized that I was consistent. So 80% I was maintaining. So on to November. That's a huge month for us. Not only Thanksgiving, but we have 3 birthdays. My birthday's the 20th. Lola's, Ben's is the 21st, and Lola's is the 22nd. So we have lots and lots of celebrations. So I always have to have a good plan. So in November, I had 6 days that I was off and I was not maintaining Mandy. But I will say in November, I always had a plan. And my plan, when I know that it's going to be hard, is I push back my breakfast a little bit. I am sure that I eat low calorie, high protein breakfast. So lots of egg whites, any of the veggies that are going bad in my fridge, Laughing Cow cheese, and that keeps me full. I also do not go to any parties hungry, so I'm sure to eat protein beforehand. A lot of time before parties, I'm super, super busy. So either I'll pick from my shrimp ring or I will eat tuna packets, the tuna pouches. My favorite is Walmart Ranch. Super good, super easy, and then I can enjoy the desserts or a couple of drinks when we have parties. So that is what I do when I am going to have some fun. Okay, December, on to December, right? December. So I think a lot of times in what I teach my clubhouse members is they just throw their hands up like, screw it, it is December. I'm just going to start over in the new year. Everybody says I'm going to start over in the new year. No, 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 not inside the clubhouse. Number one, we have a challenge. It's called Define December. We have partners. You may let yourself down, but you're not going to let your partner down. And this keeps us on track. So in December, we had a challenge from December 1st to the 24th. It was called Define December, 20 minutes of strength training each day. And we posted and tagged our partner, and everybody that participated stayed on track. Now, nobody's perfect. Perfection is prison. I always say that. So super helpful being inside of the clubhouse and participating in these challenges, not only for me, but for my club mates. Easier to keep it tight and right when you get your workout in. So many people that work out in the morning, that just sets the tone for the day. They're in a better mood. So that is how I conquered my 2024. And I want you to have this coloring calendar. I know maybe it sounds juvenile to me, but it makes me feel really proud taking a look at this calendar. Any of my clubhouse members that use the coloring calendar also, feel good about themselves. So I would love, love, love for everybody to join Define December. It's only $10. What would it hurt? December 13th through the 17th. I will put the link in the show notes. Once again, the winter shred will be starting on January 23rd, but I would really like you to do the Hit It Hard in 2025. I'd also love for that review. Tag me on social media so I can personally thank you. Leaving a 5-star review helps me help more people. I get it. It's overwhelming. Stop overthinking. I know you're busy, short on time. Let me help you. Don't ever forget about my free Facebook community, Kelly Counts Macros Community. All of my freebies are in there under the guides section. So all the freebies are in there, including set your own macros, hacks to hit your protein, how to drink wine and lose weight, plus the custom roadmap to muscles. So join the Kelly Counts Macros free Facebook community. Alrighty, friends, thanks for tuning in today. That was a little bit longer than I thought it would be. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, it's not about the all or something mentality you need to incorporate in your fitness and nutrition journey. I will catch you next time. And just know you're always doing better than you think you are.